Hello. Back with a bit more of Space Haven with me, LG. Right, what are we going to do today then? So we've just built this opposite corridor. I need to do one here, but it's going to... basically that, but if I want to, I don't know really what I'm doing with the shape of this ship now. Just, I should have bloody done a Star Trek ship. Right, I need to get out of this system now. Did took a bit of a day off yesterday. Yesterday I came here, different system, trying to do different things, but we're still short on a lot of stuff. I tried twice to take this derelict ship, but it's full of aliens, and it's got an alien nest in it, and it's got not one, but like 5 or something of these charging alien things. So yeah, I died twice trying to do that. Even though I've got one rifle now, one shotgun with a 4. Yeah, I mean, nobody's got any armor. We don't have any what do you call it? I'm going to try and make more weapons at some point. We've got some queued up when we get the resources. Get another rifle, another shotgun, and oxygen suits. The mass of the ship with this, I can go to 3.6. When this is built, will probably be around that or just over. I'm going to need more engines. More blue blocks. Only one though, so I'm going to put an engine. Let me put there. Not enough room. We'd have to move the walls. Okay. Well, we can do that, but essentially I'm going to get another 2, so it's 2 pairs of 3s, do lots of 4s and so on. We need to get out of this system though. Nothing here, and as I say, I can't. So we're going to come here. Elective, they attack me. Get the ice and the minerals from here, see what the other systems are. I couldn't make these systems because I kept being attacked by pirates and rogue bots and sunwats. We're still hanging on just. My food situation not good. Oh, we did research meat. Now that we've got meat, I think I've got all the ingredients to make food eventually. Have a look. What do we need? We need nuts. Am I actually growing nuts? Let's have a look. The nuts and fruits. Nuts and nuts. 3 nuts, 1 food. fibre, 2 meat. I could swap one of the nuts for a vegetable, I think, to balance it out. However, these are over halfway. Change this one then to vegetable. I think that's 2 meat, 2 vegetable. It's for food. Got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so I've got 2 of each, I think. 8. 1 fibre. For the moment. You will want a lot more. Oh, I managed to get. Learning up to 10. Okay. Go. What? Everything's if you continue the following will be left behind. Dusty. Oh, is she out mining or something? Dusty. Dusty. Back. Okay, let's go. Let me save him. I'm just put save him in case these guys attack us. Find the location of Cure System Lupia Doran. Some of these missions I'd love to do, but base. Chance, right? We came here, didn't we? Base has got ice and energy. The nebula though as well. Let's drop out here. I want to see what these guys do. I don't think they're enemies. Neutral. Can we trade with them? I need. Say that. What will they take off of me? Not much. Sort of biomatter. Sell this. Why androids take painkillers, bandages. Shame I can't trade my green blocks. But we're nowhere near need. Fix some socket. Okay. Back. Likes it. I want to see. So this guy is 294, 213. Guy's 284. 70. Image. Let's do that. Mine all this. Let me just save in. I built the shield thing, but that needs a console. I built it over here. Fine, I was like, yes, I finally built it, and then it was like, oh, it needs high power. So then I moved it, so I had to deinstall it, reinstall it. I was like, yes, it's got high power, and then it said, oh no, it needs a console. So still no shield. The console is training as we speak and nearly done. So. Right, we've still got a reasonable amount of scrap. Well, I'll scrap mostly. We still haven't processed because of use and time to do things. For this food, let's have a look. This is going to take a while. I don't think I've had. They're at 0%. That's CO2. Why not one in? Produce it. No room for it. I think that's why the corridor will get blocked. Go in here. all missed. Would make food start growing quicker once we build. I think I might be able to build. Well, we've got the green. I think the blue eventually churn out one here and there. Corridor, potentially. I really need. I got down to about 300 something hull stability. I mean, we're still only 75 out of 1,000 because I've got no metal. But even the asteroids, I'll lose my ship. I've got no shields, so if that red goes down too much, so ship health isn't. Let's say that we've got massive asteroids coming in. Gonna hit. Oh, down to 610. So yeah, they're damaging me quite a lot, and even though I get a little bit back, the asteroids keep poking holes and bringing it back down again, so we're struggling. I mean, we're mining base ore. It's just, I can't remember. Say what the ores give you. Somewhere, doesn't it? Break down into a space haven with randoms. Base metals, iron, aluminum, noble metal. How can we understand? Doesn't actually say rare on the wiki. Basic noble metals and raw chemical. Good then. Okay. I've got it. I've got it to make metal. Back, we need then one. But it's not just whether you've got the stuff; it's whether I really desperately. Thinking how I would get over. Let's put that there. Might get another bedroom in. The bedrooms are basically 4 squares because it's wall 2, doors 3. Maybe move the door here. And block the door. I've got a better couch now though. Gives 10 benefits. Possibly could do a room where they're not on their own. But okay. Need a small shield generator as well as this thing called shield generator. Okay, for the moment we've got this here until we get more space. I think I'm going to be better off. All ones are fine once you've built your ship, but I'm constantly changing them. Might keep it. Get it back. Did that trade get done? It did, didn't it? No, we've got no anything. This one's still up. Hardly anybody will take info. mean, I could build a medical bed. I think people can use it as sleeping. Put it in, it can't be built because blue blocks again. We need 1, 2. This guy have... .308. Before it's just gone up. And I've got things to maybe went to biomatter blocks in. We're not mining though, we're not doing anything. I think it's partly because too many jobs on the go. I think I'm gonna... thing is, using the shield's gonna use up more power, and we're very low on power. Doing the trades really buggers up mining because they've got to load up there. I wish trade was just a little bit less resource usage because they have to grab it from the storage, take it to the docks, you know, the ships have to exchange. I kind of understand that, but it does really, you know, I've bunged in 2 trades. Move the whole bed. Do what I want. I mean, again, we're going to have a problem with oxygen, heat. So if I wanted like a pod like here, I'm going to need 28 blocks like per pod, basically overside. Blocks level with the ship. Going to be the same. So I'm going to need 60 or so whole blocks to do that, and then we're going to need environmental stuff and everything just to keep it. Probably another oxygen. And once I do that, we're probably going to need, I'd say, at least 2 more engines. And obviously I can build them one at a time, but even those, a lot of resources to do. Okay, one of the trades is done, got one more to do. What are we going to move? I'd have to move all this again. $555 on health. So we're doing grains and hops, then we're doing weapon. Enhancement. No one plugged in, haven't we? Salvaging. Don't mind anything yet. Trades are done, so okay. Probably because I'm so tired all the time. All that navigating. So they're moving some of the trade stuff. Fix that. No, of course. Down. space for one engine in here. But if I queue it up now, that just gets stuff. You won't go in with it. Needs to go there. Or needs to go back. One square. I could probably move everything forward. One square almost. There. Where can't be reached. Fine for the moment. What I could do, because what I'm trying to do as far as the ship goes, so the side pod here, you know, this sort of size or whatever, you know, and all of the miners are going to come out, not the shuttle, and we'll probably be able to get a few other things, maybe training modules or something over it. And on the other side, we'll have the shuttles 1, 2, 3 or something, and then when this space is freed up, I'm going to probably turn it into the grow rooms, make bigger grow rooms, because I need to expand bedrooms. I don't necessarily need to expand the kitchen per se. But we need a medical room, we need sleep chambers. Usually the sleep chambers I did put in the side pods with the ships. A couple each side sort of thing. But if I can't do quite whole pod, I've got my whole. Is there a way to cancel this when it's that size? It's kind of what I want to do. Back to there. Fully out. Would. But we can't do that. But I can do. Like a little bit. That's gonna put us overweight, but I can start moving a couple of the build back. I don't know, it's risky doing that when I've got so many other things I'm trying to do. I don't have enough crew just to do all the jobs, let alone. But we need more space. I need space to. Probably can move 2 of these, if not. Moving the grow room's a bit of a pain because, you know, you've got growing crops and all that sort of stuff. But do we actually make any food? It still says I don't have things stored up. I don't know all these. We don't really have any compost though, so. And the CO2 machine. I'll build blue block. What's that? Rather have CO2 built. I'm gonna do is probably get a door in here. Ain't building them yet, but started to mine. I need to not make the mistake, because I was thinking I need more water. Definitely will need more water as we get more crew. So I've got it as a if 20. If we do an if 30 or something, if you do that with too many industry things, you know, I've got more people. No points with the fleets. Bring them here. We might bring them here. We're still trying to find them a Hyperion cloud. They're only here. Much difference. So I probably can get the engine, it's going to move, so if I put the wall here, start moving. Can it go there? Heaters. The heater. Don't know if that's going to make offset walls. Well, I think we're going to have to move this as well. But I want to... I think that will go once that's moved. Hey Sky Dream, sorry. Pop in there. You tried building a hangar pod, needed unbuilt. Oh, about full repair. Suddenly the pod was built anyway. What? We were building. We're building a pod hangar, I take it, on a shuttle hangar. So that takes 2 green, 1 blue, and a hull. So you need the green, the blue, and the hull to do it. And then once you've built it, you then need to build the miner or the builder. There's another green block and a green chip. I mean, notifications aren't particularly great in this game. There's no audio and a lot of notifications. Scrap 4 repair part. Well, I mean, you might not have had if you've got industry producing parts. Thing is, as soon as it gets allocated, so if you've got it down to build, and then the part becomes available, it can get assigned to that build straight and not really show up in your resource. Anything that's assigned won't show up. Like I've got a scrap and 2 green here, so it's as if it's built even though it's not built. If I was to scrap this, I'd get these back. So your resources window is not always as accurate as you think it is, because but build the pod, you must have had all the parts. Scrapping in whole scrap will give you 4 of those will give you 1 block. It will also give you 0.4 of a metal. But you must have had the other parts either in your stock system somewhere. Because they need 2 green and 1 blue, but everything needs a blue, and blue's super hard to. I mean, technically I can make it with this machine, the blue blocks now, and I've got an if in, but I don't have the metals. Sometimes I'll make them. Hence why we're still trying to mine what we can. Have you got your recycler set to just infinitely turn them into? I mean, there's not really, unless you're going to trade stuff. Not particularly great for trading. I just have all my scraps set to infinity, so this can cause a bit of a problem with manpower, though. It means they're doing so. If there's anything you really don't need, you can turn it off. But equally, like soft scrap, I've actually got none, so even though it could take at work, I've got none, so it's not going to make any. I only assume, Scar, that you did have the resources somewhere for it. Obviously, if you were scrapping the whole part, then that finished that requirement off. Once it's built, you're then going to want to choose your miner or your... At the moment, I've gone 2 miners and 2 builders. I've still on my starter crew of 4, though. If I hadn't have wasted a bunch of points on a blueprint, I could have got another crew member. But these take up 3 by 3, don't they? So once this gets built, 3 by 3. But I'll put all my miners in my side pod and probably sleep chambers, and then shuttles on the other side, sleep chambers. But even if I could do that, I can't, because I don't have enough. Put me way over on the mass. Even this is going to put me over. Have you been playing the game long, Scott? You there? Yeah, it's just it's a little bit misleading, as I say, because if you've got a demand for something and it gets allocated, I understand why they do it that way, but I sometimes think, oh, I don't have anything, but that there's something in the system. You know, and some of the machines will store some stuff as well. But if they're storing stuff, then and it's sat in the machine, it will show in your resources. How's my food thing doing? I think it's empty. Food. But I can finally grow meat, so I just need fertilizer. What I do need to do is build back that fertilizer machine that we had to grab. Composter. Yeah. Game. Blue blocks. Everything's blue blocks. Need high powering. I think I'm just gonna flap it in. We'll move it later, but try and put it down. That needs 2 blocks. That needs 2 blocks. Medical bed needs blue block. That's 5. Okay, he needs another 6. Nothing to trade really for it. I might do some Avorium later today. I might get that game I've been meaning to play it for years or something. Sort of Minecraft in space with it. I mean, it's got sort of blocky graphics, but a lot of people love the game and stuff. And you can automate the mining and stuff. It's not so much a survival game, more it's sort of a mining, trading, and combat stuff in it. I really love this game, like its vibe and stuff, but it just throws you down to way too many dead ends. I'm always having to save scum and go back and go, okay, let's try and make sure we don't run out of this item, or I mean, a couple of days ago I got caught by a pirate. First thing I do when I get a pirate in the system is to jump. It usually always allowed me to jump, but I couldn't jump away quick enough. My ship was half health, and I think if it was full health I probably would have lived. But every time, no matter how many times I tried it, it would blow me up before I could jump out. And then you just have to wind it back and go to a different system instead of getting killed by a pirate. So, and it's not the chat. I like the challenge of the game, but as I say, I wish there was just a little bit less reliance on having to wind back saves, because, you know, and if you run out of fuel and can't move about and run out of food and stuff, even if you're very advanced with everything researched, you can still just play an hour or something and then go, oh my god, it's game over. I'm playing on normal. Yeah, and it's brutally hard in normal, so I would actually advise people to play whatever the one level down from normal is. I mean, I haven't seen fuel to mine or Energem really for ages. It's you know, if the sun's not trying to kill you, or the asteroids or the pirates. If I was playing on brutal mode, I would sort of like expect it or whatever, but I wish you could change the difficulty setting like mid-save, but game doesn't do that. You'd have to start another save. But I wouldn't think, you know, there is a sort of sandbox mode or something with enemies taking away, but I think there's no shame in playing an easy setting in this game, man. God knows what. I mean, there's 2 levels higher than normal. God knows what that must be like, 'cause my save is super. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether... I've never actually played sandbox mode. I do love the building and the systems in this game, but I suppose if you did had everything just to make a pretty shape, it would probably not hold my interest too much. I like a challenge, but sometimes this game can be too much of a challenge. But as I say, I might do a bit of a Vorium later today after I've done a couple hours of this. So only a small channel, so I don't often get a lot of people what game I do and stuff. But yeah, I've been doing quite a lot of games recently this year. We completed Round of Aces. That's a nice base building game. Recommend that. Did sort of 50-60 hours in that, but I'm going to wait for a really big update for another playthrough of that. Farthest Frontier, city building sort of survival game, really enjoyed that. Did that for 60 hours, completed that. I got AC Shadows on my birthday, I'm just finishing that off now. I did Windrose in 12 days, 12 10-hour days. Quite fun. I'm still doing a little bit of base building on it, but I've finished all the content. But I might try and give Vorium a try. There's some sort of chill mining space stuff, and then this I'm playing around with because it came out 1.0. I used to play it a lot when it first came out. I'd like to get Enshrouded and Stalker 2.0 update. Stalker says summer for the new game engine, and that could they haven't given a specific date for the DLC and the engine update, so it could be July, it could be August, it could get pushed back. And I quite like to get Enshrouded, and I know Enshrouded's in a good state because I enjoyed Windrose and that sort of game. I quite like survival base building with leveling and stuff. But they're doing a 1.0 release in autumn, so probably September or October. And if I was to start now, I feel like they added quite a lot more for 1.0, then I'd be like, oh, I should have waited. Got the World Cup to watch in June and July. So I'm not really sure how much I'm going to enjoy this World Cup. Time zones and where it is, and just been a whole load of news today about how Ebola's breaking out all over America and stuff and other places. Not one thing, another. Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I was playing this game, the devs were talking about doing like a second level. They didn't really design like power. You know, they said it was hard to do because of the way the game was designed. But I thought they were going to do upper levels, because you don't have a lot. I mean, even if you go to the big, it's not a huge, like if you think about, well, I could build something that's got 5 or 6 levels on the same grid space. But yeah, it's but they've done the space station stuff, so it's mostly the space station stuff and then the missions and the quests and Exodus fleet and stuff that's been added. Music's I haven't tried because if it, I suppose you could do sandbox mode, do a different save or something at the same time, so you could try out things. A lot of the lessons I learned when I played it, that thing is still applicable in 1.0 really. Although, to be honest, it's almost exactly the same. There's some extra units, but biggest change is the low power and high power. There was just power before, which actually I kind of preferred. Kind of sucks when you build something that goes, oh, it needs high power. Yeah, I like the fact you can move these around though. But yeah, the engines, the bio stuff, beans and hops now. Beans and hops. Not sure what that give us is the kitchen doesn't need grain and hop. I suppose because they got beer, haven't they? So I expect the grain and hops of beer. It's arrived. I've money to spend. I've only got 1 point. I wish the Exodus fleet you passively gain some stuff at a slow rate, but at least something. Not a big fan of the point system for it. But I'm running low on energy, and I've hyperfuel I'm fine, but I need normal fuel, normal Hyperion and energy rock. 2 blocks. Right, so this is going to put me. Wait. We do, but we've made a bit of room for the engine. Do another one for that. Move these. Don't dismantle, abandon. Okay, craft first. Well, if I can't abandon, I can dismantle them and rebuild them. Have I tried Conan Exile? I haven't, but I'm not a big fan of company Conan. It's the same people that did Dune Awakening. Both Dune Awakening and Conan have this, and I just don't like it. Where because they're trying to get. Whereas if you don't log in and play like once a week or something, like your base starts to deteriorate. Obviously, if you're actively playing, it's just not an issue because it's quite a slow rate and stuff. But if you sort of want to take a few months off and stuff, yeah, I don't know. There's something funny about that company. I've forgotten their name now. Fun play thing, whatever they're called. And they just seem to just chuck it in most of the games that they do. I mean, part of Dune, like the first sort of 20-30 hours of Dune Awakening, I quite enjoyed. but the end game is kind of rubbish, and I don't know, it's sort of survival, but it's sort of survival by making you having to play the game. Funcom, that's what they're called, aren't they? Funcom. Yeah. Funcom my arse. And they do the same in Conan. So I haven't tried Soul Mask. I heard good things about Soul Mask, but I think, as I say, Enshrouded probably would be my next game. And I think Soul Mask has a lot better. I mean, you can build underwater bases, and because it's got full building, and it's like Minecraft. So, and you've got fluid dynamics and everything now in Enshrouded. But so I think, you know, I'd just rather play Enshrouded than Conan or Soul. And I don't think I'll do Conan. I did see it got its remastered, and quite a few people are playing it. And it's generally a game I'd probably like, but that mechanic of you got to sort of keep logging in and doing some stuff to keep that, I just not a fan. None of that shit. Does Soul Mask have the same? Soul Mask isn't made by Funcom, is it? Yeah, I think Soul Mask is right, but Shrouded's a lot better than Soul Mask, really. But I haven't got enough money or time to play them all either. Recent reviews are mixed for Soul Mask. Campfire Studios, that's different people, but if you can turn them off in the settings, it's like, I mean, some of them have like easy modes and settings you can turn off, but I just don't know why they put them in the game. It's just a way of saying, well, you can't stop playing our game. Even when you're actively playing the game, it's like, if I build a base, I don't want it to. I mean, if you're playing some sort of base survival game where it's a base survival game, then fair enough. Or it's something because of on there. Another one back here. Not build here. Why not? Oh. Oh. And then this is gonna double in size, or almost 2/3 bigger, but these built. But I'm keeping an eye on, you know, Soul Mask and stuff. But it's not got that. It's not at the state that Enshrouded is. I mean, obviously different settings and stuff. But if I'm right, because there isn't the Soul Mask allow you to. I think in Soul Mask you can allocate people to do a lot of jobs, so it's sort of like people management and stuff in it. But I'll probably try it at some point. Maybe, as I say, I want to do Stalk, I want to do Enshrouded, I want to do Vorium, and a couple other things this year that I can't remember. I'll probably go back to do more Ground of Aces at the end of this year, and couple new games that I can't even think of at the moment that I know coming out, whether I'll be able to get them, but I don't generally buy games when they come out, and A, because of price, and B, because they get. And then games like that, like even like with Enshrouded or Soul Mask, sometimes when you get it 2 years later and it's got a lot more content and it's been patched and it's got, you know, they're just in a lot better state, so I don't feel the rush to get some of these games. I mean, I know this game's only 3-man team or something. If it's still, I don't know, maybe it didn't sell enough when it first came out then, but 6 years to do what they've done seems a long time to me. And they still don't have noises for like incoming calls, or I think there should be a lot more audio alerts in this, like when you run out of resources and radio calls. Something I'd like audio stuff because it's so easy to miss an alert in this game. Right, heaters are going in. But I haven't played Enshrouded. Like, I've just watched. Like, I've been putting off playing it because, you know, in 0.8 they did the water physics and stuff. But every reviewer that I've seen that says that Enshrouded's one of the best survival sandbox built. It's because the building's so good. Because you don't, so you can build things like 1,000 feet up in the air or underground and stuff. Now with then you've got all the leveling, and I mean, I'm not a big fan of boss fights at all. But if it's a boss fight every sort of 10 levels or something linked to the deck, then it's okay. If the bosses aren't too, like, you have to do it 50 times over and cheese it every time just to pass it. But yeah, I haven't played Enshrouded yet, so that's what I'm saying. I was thinking of getting it for May and June. But because the 1.0's around the corner and there'll be more newer content coming out, so if I'm gonna do a whole new playthrough from the start of Enshrouded, I'd probably best wait. So, what I'll probably do. But I've got this, I've got Evorium to do, and just finish off a bit of Assassin's Creed Shadows, but that's pretty much done on the story. Just got to do the missions that give me the credits, and then if Stalker 2 does come out in the summer, then that's going to be a couple 100 hours. Windrose supposedly is going to have its more content towards the end of this year. They said at least 6 months, but I mean, nothing's announced, so they might come out with a big update for Windrose at the end of the year. But with everything else coming out, I, you know, could push that back to next year. Pick the game up again and do. If they just do one biome and one more level of Windrose and a few extra items and stuff, then I'll probably leave it until there's much bigger updates. It needs a lot more content in. But it's just a fun game to play because the quality of life stuff in it's so good. Hey Boxing, how you doing? Good morning to you too, sir. Although I'm dreaming about lunch. We've been able to replenish our water shortages and then some. We have a lot of water for trade. Do you? Bet you. Who's this? Skyrunner. Female ships that have jumped in. Need that energy. Steel plates as well. Will you take any of the stuff that I've got quantity? See, they won't take infant blocks or biomatter. Don't want to. I've been trading. I'm not mining, and we're not gaining enough to trade. Right, so that's built. Stay here too long. Down to 2 power rods, so we're almost breaking our game save again. We're going to have to move over here. There's a little bit of energy, but it's also a nebula. I probably should move now because ship's not at full health. Don't know if we're going to get attacked. We'll get attacked by asteroids. It'll be like this one. The derelict ship. So let's spool up the drives before. How much am I overweight? Only about a touch. 3.6 and I'm 3.75 now. So we'll get out of here and then I'll start mining some of this energy. But unless I can find more energy, I mean, we'll just keep winding the game back, having to redo. Game needs to give me some resources, please. Everywhere I go. I mean, even here, couldn't I have had 3 or 4 asteroid belts, you know, so I could actually gain shit tons of base. I could trade it then, but I'm not. You know, basically, I'm lucky if I get an asteroid or 2 just to keep me going, let alone enough to trade with. But yeah, I might do Avorium this afternoon. Start that off. It's gonna be some chill mining and. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep, you know, I don't rent this channel, doesn't make any money. I'm not earning any money. I'm basically screwed in real life. Mentally not great either, but you know, and years ago it forced me into not being able to, but I'm pleased I don't buy all these games now, like £70 games that come out and just, you know, you just, as soon as you bought them you think, oh god, this game's awful, like the save's broken. It's like 75% of games come out now, and I don't mind an early access if but you know, a lot of early accesses are a bit of a cheek. I wish some of these missions went halfway across the galaxy. Ultra cluster, that's miles away. Back here, and it's full of pirates. Bots. But yeah, I generally like sort of games that have some sort of building, surviving, leveling. I like all kinds of games. I am a variety gamer, so I'm definitely not a one-person gamer. There's some people that just play 1 or 2 games a year or something, and nothing else. I can't do that. I still like some variety. How many credits have I got? What with this thing? I'm down to 1 credit on the. I've got no credits to spend on the ship. And space credits, I've got nothing basically. Too far. I mean, this is these generally I should be closer to the derelict ship, but the last 3 derelict ships I can't do. They just kill me. So I'm just gonna mine that at the moment. Start mining the other stuff when we can, but let's prioritize that. Am I going to get clobbered by asteroids? Yep. And the sun flares, if they happen, totally break my ship. Brutal, man, brutal. But there's plenty of good games that you can get £10, £15, certainly under £25 that you get hundreds of hours in. I mean, the Assassin's Creed I got was so much better because they've added so much more to the game. Game rubbish on launch, but it's like set £80 on launch or something for the base version of the game. I got it for about £24 a year later. So, you know, I've been an Assassin's Creed fan for a long time. I know the format's pretty tired now and stuff, but I'm not a big fan of Ubisoft. But you know, some of their games are good. But again, if you wait a couple of years, get them on a very deep sale at like 70% off. The auto turret and weapons console unlocked. What are we doing? We're doing robot. God, I could do with some robots. Do some of the jobs on the ships. Right, so these pods then. Of course, I'm moving. Can I move these? Do we have to abandon it? Weird. Craft can be set back to a free hangar by selecting it. Right, so is it we can't destroy it because it's locked in? Yeah, then we can dismantle that. Oh, actually, I can move it. But for the moment, all this stuff probably move. I'll put it there. This one. Good idea. Well, we're under attack. But even though we're under attack, people are going for a coffee break. Oh, we got rogue drones here as well. Shit, when did they turn up? Not good because they killed the miners. I should put I'm going to call this 9.67. As in we're not sure this is a good idea coming here. Because I've got, I mean, if the sun flare happens, we've got some ships coming in. They're the other ones. Nothing to trade though. We'll try and mine what we can. I'll check the derelict to see what's on it. If it's got a nest on it and stuff, we haven't got guns or armor, so we're pretty weak at taking over ships. What do I think about Assassin's Creed Shadows? Yeah, well, it's I mean, every Assassin's Creed game is it's got bad points about it. You know, it's like 6 good things, 4 bad things. Or you play a go and go, oh, why have they removed these 3 things that I love from the last game and it's not in the next game? Oh no, the solar flare's happening. Oh, that's going to wreck my ship. I don't think I can recover from these solar flares. Could get out of here, but no. Back. Save. You know, and then some settings are not everybody's cut. I mean, I really wanted to love Valheim because, you know, I'm from the UK and stuff, but it was probably one of the worst out of all the modern ones. Origins is probably my favourite. But AC Shadows does parkour as good as Unity now because they redid the parkour for it. So when it came out last year, it was shit. Now it's really good. So it's just really easy and fast flowing and much better frame rates. They brought back the stealth kills and stuff, so it's a much stealthier game. It feels much more assassin-y. I miss City. I genuinely like the city, so I love Unity with Paris and Syndicate with London and real cities. And Valheim was set in a period where none of the cities were very realistic because they either didn't bother to try and make them realistic. Just, you know, it's like 10 different building types and seen them all. It's this church where you come in through this window and stuff. The worst thing about Valheim was the fact that they forced you to do the regions one by one to get to the end story, and you didn't give a shit about the characters of those regions. I actually think the story in Assassin's Creed has been a bit better than Valheim. Valhalla. But Valhalla had a really good, like the first 15 hours of Valhalla was good, and the ending of Valhalla was superb. But I think, you know, Mirage, I really enjoyed playing Mirage as a smaller thing, you know. AC Shadows still has a bit of bloat in the middle of it. I think the end, I've sort of done the ending. It's not like, I don't know, the story's a bit weird at the end. It doesn't have, like I say, so I could rave about 6 good things about AC Shadows and then 3 or 4 that are not very good, so it's not that the story's bad. I think the story of Shadows is pretty good, but the pacing of the story, how they force you with switching the characters and stuff at the start, and then at the end they both sort of have separate characters they need to sort of kill to complete their story arcs. So I like the pacing in Valhalla, and Odyssey was just weird. I mean, Odyssey was a good game. The ships were back, like Black Flag, and it was a fun world. But bringing Odyssey in after Origins, setting it for, you know, you have a game called Origins, and then the next game is 400 years earlier than that. It's like, what? So, you know, as a lot of people have said with Odyssey, that it's a good game, but it's not a good Assassin's Creed game. You know, if they just wanted to make historical period RPGs, then, you know, they could do that. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Hexa. Apparently, what's his name? Trilogy, what's on his name now? Going to be a small part character in Hexa. Same time period, so he's still alive, so he's a bit of a mentor or something to the girl. Odyssey got better reviews than Valhalla. Yeah, but there's also this thing about like burnout and the same, like, so I played most of the games in order, and I played all of them with the exception of a few of the DLCs and some of the older console stuff, but you know, but there's several factors, like, you know, what's the UI like and how well, like, because AC3 I think is quite a good game with quite a good story, but its controls are a bit yank. I mean, probably better on console back in the day when it came out, but I played the remastered version on PC, and that's on my YouTube channel. So it just doesn't feel as good to play as it actually is to watch. Black Flag is great, and I'd be interested. I'm not going to play the remaster because I've already played the game twice, and I haven't got 50 quid to spend on a game that I've already played. I'll be because they are cutting a few things out. They're cutting some of the modern day stuff out, and I quite like the modern day stuff in all the Assassin's Creed games. It's really important to the story, but they've never tied the modern day stuff properly. You know, each game that came out, they kind of messed around with, you know, it was this, it was that, or something. If you watch it, there's some videos about 2 hours long that just tell you the whole modern day story of Assassin's Creed from beginning to end. And it's actually very interesting. When you watch that, you kind of get it, but because the games delivered them so badly, at odd times, pacing and stuff, people were like, what is this? 1 minute I was on the ship, now I'm walking around an office. So it was more really the delivery and the pacing of it than the fact of the actual story. It's just, what I'm saying, I think it's great and it's good stuff, but it was poorly implemented. AC Shadows are pretty much not bothered with it. There's a few things. The Valhalla stuff at the beginning and end is actually very good, As I say, I mean, if you could have taken Valhalla and taken the first 15 hours and the last 20 hours and just slammed them together, it would have been a much better game. Mirage is pretty good because it's a city in Baghdad and everything's pretty cool, but you kind of need to know the very end of Valhalla to get the best out of Mirage. But I like Shadows because it feels very zen, all the praying and chapel, you know, and it's so it and the weather and everything, so it feels quite good to play. And as I say, the parkour's really good, so that feels good to play. It's still got a bit too much bloat and repetition in some parts with the castles and the zones are probably the biggest and most unique, you know, so they don't feel quite as full. I mean, they are formulaic in the fact you get the chest, got to kill the guys, get the chest, and then you've done the castle. But you know, they're pretty good. But then the world is the best for the environment. The rain, the wind, and everything's amazing. But it's pretty empty. So if you don't have markers or missions there, because there's no hunting of animals, no skins and stuff. So oh no, there's solar flares happening. Here we go. Don't have to do a wind back. I think everything with chips in it gets fried. I haven't got the money to can you just stop doing the energy stuff? Go. Why is nobody going to put the fire out, man? But he's still busy trying to load the thing while the ship burns down. That's Assassin's Creed all over or something. It's like they get some things right and they get a lot of things wrong. And if you'd love the franchise, you end up these are all being killed. Back to I think I probably just best get out of this system because I just can't afford the solar flares. I need to. I don't know why they're not building these quicker though, but let's cancel the abandonments. Let's get them back in here. And even though half the time I can't stay in systems to get the resources because of the solar flares and the rogues and the asteroids. Kind of suck. You know, and like but this is the problem with Assassin's Creed games. Like, none of them are terrible games. You know, they might be a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, but they have 8 and 9 out of 10 bits in each of the games. And then they'll have other bits in the game that are 4 out of 10. Why are these not being claimed? Get these ships back inside. Flares coming. Oh god, gotta get in it. I think I'm gonna. That means that save is bollocks as well then. Probably a bad idea to try and do all this while we're sitting in the system of solar flares and asteroids. Can we get this one? Gonna go to the airlock and go out and get it? Go. You need to get out of here, Sky. But you know, it's like so. Origins had really good story, characters, assassins, Egypt, and what have you. Odyssey was more really about ships, fighting, kicking, and battles. Out here before this thing hits. Where am I going to go though? Go up here, but this has got a flipping cloud as well. Don't know what's in this system though. Cloud is this? I don't have the green. Still a nebula, but I think we're still going to have the same problem here, aren't we? Asteroids and rogue. Yeah, I can't stay here. How are we going to mine? I mean, these systems we'll just have to try and come back to in the ship. I haven't got fighters, so... Is it worth it for water? Or it is. Got more turrets and things. Nothing in it. A few things here to mine, but nothing. Becoming a bit of a problem now. Well, we couldn't mine here, we couldn't mine here. The nebula. These nebulae suck, man. Deus Anasi. Omega. We need some chill systems, but if we get stopped by pirates, let's maybe come out here. I stay here. Ship's only 2/3 health. Once I get fighters and we can do some of these. But 007 First Light has amazing reviews. I heard, well, I spent a lot. I heard some mixed. I mean, first of all, it's a new game that's quite expensive. I won't be buying. It's not open, so it's story-driven game. So it will be, you know, I'd probably rather play. I know it's Ubisoft, but I'd rather play. The thing, there's a phenomenon in a lot of games at the moment, especially people who have got money. And I look at things a bit differently now that I don't have money, but you know, like people can play a game and like after 3 hours they go, oh, this is amazing, and I can even do it myself, but it's like 10 hours in, are you still going to want to once the newness is worn off on a game? Is there a thing like, you know, are you going to keep playing it? And it's I know it's not. I'm speaking from a personal view. Is it 50 or is it 60? But again, if I was to play First Light, maybe I'll play it in 2 years' time when I can get it for a tenner, and it's just, yeah, it's going to give me 50 hours gameplay for a tenner or something. But it's 60. Yeah, so I'm not paying £60 on a game that's probably a 50-hour story mode game, 40-hour story mode game, 80 gigabytes. Interactive AS, and what have they made? They made the Hitman, yeah. So I heard some mixed reviews about it. People go, it's okay, but I don't, wouldn't say it's amazing. So some people would agree with deboxing. But, I could probably buy 4 or 5 games for that £60, and each of them would give me a couple hundred hours gameplay. So like I'm going to probably play Avorium after lunch. And, I can get that game for £8, £9. Although I'll probably need to get the DLC in the sale because at the moment they're only available on Steam. I was on the early ones. I didn't play the other ones, but again, I think it's more to do with, you know, I'm just done with AAA games. Even though I'll play some of them, but I'm done buying them. I'm never paying £60-70 for a game when it comes out. I'm just done with that. I'm just not. It's just not a value, and unless a game is, you know, probably 90% of games drop by half price. Sometimes even 3 hours and 3 hours. That'd be good. It's 50% cheaper 3 hours later. No, 3 months later. And all of us that are just super buying games for like, and there's several games like even GTA. Am I going to be buying that day one? Hell no. I mean, I'm probably quite a negative person, I think. Do I think GTA 6 is going to be a success? I don't know. It'd probably be a financial success because people are waiting 10 years for a new game and they'll buy it like it's crack. But I mean, I know the format. Going to be some people, you're going to punch people in the, you know, what's going to be new in it that I haven't done before in all the other GTA. And then GTA 5 was sort of so good, like, is it really going to be better? I mean, it will look better and maybe feel better and have more content. I know the map's going to be what, 5 times the size of GTA, but as a game. And I love, Red Dead and GTA 5 are some of the most successful games ever, and I'd probably put them in my top 10. Although I haven't played either of those games like kept playing. I never kept playing GTA online. I'm not really into the PvP thing. Well, what am I doing here? Not even mining. I've got robots here and everything. I'm gonna die talking games. Save another one, but this is gonna have to be too. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird now or something, like, because certain modes like shooter games and stuff I don't really play because I don't enjoy them. I get way too annoyed and I'm just not good at them. I tried extractor shooters, and out of all the type of shooter games, extractor shooters or RPGs, like things like Stalker 2 and stuff, they're not really a shooter game, it's a story game. So if it's a story RPG shooter, fine. And I quite like Arc Raiders, but it still has moments where the actual games, it makes you feel bad because people fuck you up or betray you or something. I hadn't played for a week or so. I went and had one game and some guy just shot me, in the first, and it wasn't that, but I just thought, well, I'm just not enjoying this. And then there's a lot of repetition. Once you've been to all the maps and got all the guns and stuff, for me there's not enough new stuff there. You're not having to use your brain to be strategic. It's really about but out of sort of, it's not a story sort of shooter, then extractors have a sort of a new, I hated Battle Royale, so I don't do those. And a lot of those matches, as I say, as I've got older, I've got less money, more mental health issues and stuff like that, I want to play more games that either do two things in my head. One, make me feel good, or make me feel like I'm creating or adding to the game. So it's not just, oh, I beat this boss, I feel successful. It's more like, I built this, look at this, what I've done, I've collected, that I work, where you feel your time feels like it's rewarded. And then there's another part of gaming I quite like, that if it's quite in-depth, I played EVE Online but I don't play it anymore because of money and time, and that's a kind of game that you can really only play one game at a time. But I do like complexity, because then your mind is taken. A lot of people play gaming to get away from real life, and stimulate your brain, just like watching a movie or something. It takes you into. So unless the games do that, and then of course all games do that for a period, and then it's like, well, how much does it do it? Does it do it for 10 hours? Does it do it for 20 hours? Does it do it for 100 hours? And then it's that sort of calculation, like, well, how much sort of brain and world immersion do I get per hour, or cost per hour or something? And I don't know. I mean, you're still fairly new boxing. You didn't see me play Farthest Frontier, or I mean, those games were great. 50, 60 hours, totally loved them, totally took my mind, played them every day. Then once I've done them, I'm not sort of something that goes, okay, I'm going to do because like Joker on Twitch is, I mean, he's just completely the opposite type of player than me, but we both like similar games. But he's a big Minecraft man, and he can just mob this, mob that, and I'm going to build. I don't have the patience to go that. I'm not that. I'm not that much of a min-maxer. But I like discovery, like playing new games and stuff. So then, I mean, this game, Avorium, Ground of Aces, Farthest Frontier or something, even all of those games I'm getting half price or cheap or whatever. So if they're a 20, 30 pound game and I'm getting them for like 10 quid or 15 quid or something, and I'm getting a couple hundred hours out of them, and then maybe 2 years later they get an update and then you replay them again or something, content, then A, they're games I enjoy, B, they take my mind out of it and onto the game, and C, I just feel like it's good value for money. And there's so many games that are coming out, supposedly I'm going to lump them all in the AAA category, and Ubisoft have fallen into this trap because they've taken a game, and remember, some of the early Assassin's Creeds were a lot more linear, and they were sort of 20 hours. You could do a Assassin's Creed, and I'm not saying they should go back to being 20 hours or 15 hours or something, but like Black Flag was like 25 hours or something. AC3 was like 15 hours. People say the Ezio trilogy is the best, but each of those games was like 10, 12 hours of a game. So you could do it, consume it, and then you wanted to do the next one, and it felt sort of good, but because the stories were so good and it just felt, and then people wanted more of it. Gaming in general has gone so big and so open world, and it's also why, and I've said this before, I'm repeating myself here, but that I'm not a big fan of Star Citizen or No Man's Sky or anything like that, because even though it's procedural and a lot, so it's like I've seen it before, but I don't know. It's kind of a weird, because I'm not saying they're bad games. I've got No Man's Sky, and when I've played it, I've had a fairly good time. But I get a little bit lost. Like, well, what's the point? What am I, and because I'm not a min-maxer or some hugely creative person in building, I like building games, but probably more from a /survival/ defense, or make a bit of strategy or something. But I'm not as creative as just a blank sheet of paper and let me build the Leaning Tower pizza out of this. So I do struggle sometimes when games are a bit too open world without enough direction, because I personally quite need direction. But then gaming is like comedy or a film or something. Everybody's game and movie and stuff is unique to them. I might like a James Bond movie and other people just never, people might watch Jason Bourne and think it's a bad movie, and others think it's a good movie. Same with science fiction and stuff. Oh, I love Babylon 5. I hated Babylon 5. The acting just seems so bad, and so I couldn't watch it. Battlestar Galactica, and even the prequel for Battlestar Galactica was pretty good until they cancelled it. Caprica and stuff. But it's age, it's time to play again. And then it's like some people have only got, you know, I've only got an hour to play a game today. I can't play some big, you know, and they want to get on, shoot some shit, and get off again because the wife's screaming at them. So there's so many factors: your personality, your money, your time of playing a game. You know, all these factors either feed into what you actually play or what you like. But let's face it, we all play a lot of games that actually we kind of regret that we didn't sink so much time into or spend that money. You know, I bought Starfield on release, and I'm never going to buy anything from them again. You know, even though Fallout and stuff was good, and and I think Ubisoft have lost me as a new customer. I'm never going to buy Ubisoft again on launch or something. And like even Shadows, right? Shadows, I would put Shadows at something like a 7.5 out of 10 if I was to rate it, because it's still got some negatives, you know. It looks amazing, it plays amazing, it's set in an amazing world, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, so somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8.5 maybe, depending on your preferences. But that's it now. You know, they've brought out like 15 different updates or something for that game in the year that it came out. Have added things that they took away. Small things like, you know, riding the horse, following the path, you know, was in previous games. Shadows came out, didn't have it. You know, you couldn't do assassination kills in a game that was about assassination. Then they brought it back. Then they brought super hard mode for some people saying, oh, it's too easy or something. So they brought out super hard mode. The parkour wasn't good enough. People didn't enjoy it, so they totally rewrote the parkour. The parkour is the parkour that they're using in Shadows is what they're using in the new Black Flag remaster. So you know movement's going to be good in the remaster because they're using the same one that they've used in thing. But you know, hey, we've got a new game out. You know, give us 80 quid. You know, buy the £120 pre-order thing, and we'll give you, you know, a red sash to wear while you're in the game, and a sword that after 5 levels you're never going to use again. And give us 120 quid up front. No, you know, never going to do that with Ubisoft again. And Ubisoft have just lost like 1.4 billion because they're just pissed it up the wall with executives thinking they know what's good for a game. And they've taken a format and taken people that loved games, and Ubisoft not the only people, you know, lots of games coming have done it, and then they just rinse their player base, giving them same thing, different story, and actually spend less time making the game good or feel good because people love the franchise. And you know, you could say that about some of the Call of Duty games, you could say that about other things. And gaming's big business now, so if they think they've got a huge audience, they'll sometimes just treat them as a cash cow. You know, loot boxes and gear and buy this and points and stuff. I think FIFA's I mean, it's not called FIFA anymore. I mean, I remember when FIFA's came out and it was like FIFA 2001 or 4 or whatever, I mean, it was just, oh wow, this is amazing, this is great. It was the first time you could do things, and now it's like it's just buy the packs, buy the team, you know, and it's just like there's a trading game. You get like with the cards, whether it be Pokemon or you know, the other types where you just spend, and then it's like, well, a year later they've got the new one, and then nobody wants to play the old. Who plays FIFA 2018 or 19 now? And it's like, so you're going to spend 60-70 pound on a game every year because soon as they bring out the next one, it's old thing. And then FIFA's turned into this sort of card trading game if you've got the money. And of course, like real footballers and do it because, you know, they could drop thousands on those games buying FIFA point, you know. So yeah, so some of the games have just been ruined by finance, really. That's why I quite like indie games generally, or new games companies that are trying to do things. I mean, both Enshrouded, Windrose and stuff like that, fairly small studios. The team that makes this game, there's only 3 people. I mean, maybe they're a bit more now, but it's a bit of a mess, the gaming industry now, and it went a bit crazy from COVID. I mean, COVID caused a lot of it because everybody was playing games. People started making 10 times the money, and then they just stopped making proper good games. They just took people for granted, thinking that was going to be the level of sales forever. And I now look at them, they're all sacking staff, laying off people, games companies, studios are closing down. I think Return to Moria has been cancelled or something. There's one of the Lord of the Rings. I've got Lord of the Rings online, and I quite enjoy that, but I can't play it for 2 minutes. It gets a little bit repetitive, although the world environment and the world geography compared to the books is very accurately done. It's just got fairly old looking basic graphics, but I'm about level 40 or something in Lord of the Rings, but the Moria game. But it's not just building. I mean, some games. I don't know. A builder game for me has an end. And I'm not, as I say, a Minecraft. If I'm a Minecraft, I'll be playing Minecraft, but I'm not. So total open builder games probably isn't really my bag. And then if they are limited, then again, it's like, do I really want to spend the money? How many hours? I mean, Windrose, I was, and it's kind of like, if I'd paid £50-60 for Windrose, I'd be pissed off because you can complete that game. I mean, I went and did sort of everything in about 100 hours, but I was doing like 10-hour days, day after day, and I was doing side content and everything else. But they're not charging you £60-70. They're charging you like £24.99, and some people might get Windrose later this year or next year. I mean, it's only just come out in April, so they might be picking it up in the sale for like, I don't know, £15 or £18 or something like on Christmas or next year. I mean, sometimes with early access it will go up a bit. It'll be a £30 game or a £35 game maybe, with a lot more content. But then, if you're getting a couple hundred hours out of it, for 20 quid or something, then it's just a total different kettle of fish, as long as you enjoy the hours that you're playing. Now, if I was a millionaire or something and the money didn't have value to me, then you can afford to just start chucking 60 quid at Have you, let me Google it, the 007 game. Let me just see, 007 First Light. Length of game hours. Average play time 15 to 20 hours for the main story. Focused playthrough 13 to 15 hours. Completionist playthrough, they say 30 to 40 hours. I'm sorry, it's just not a £60 game, for me. If they brought that out at $29.99 or something and it was new. So did you got it, Box? Have you played it, or have you just... What did you say about it? And it's become trendy to bash Assassin's Creed. That's very true. And then they bring out a game which has got all the worst parts of, not worst parts, but like I was talking to you, that I didn't want to play what was it, the other Crimson Desert and stuff, because it's got a lot of Assassin's Creed stuff go around the world, I think, but then it's taken the story away. You're not an assassin or whatever. And so, although it's probably a little bit less repetitive, because I know a lot of the stuff is quite unique that you come across in the world, but it wouldn't probably, I don't feel that game after I've done 20 hours. I don't think I'm going to want to play it. I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff I say is true about every game or something. Like, I can't always, but I can't play every game. Certainly can't be buying games at 40, 50, 60 quid, let alone those that are, I mean, you can get Red Dead 2 now. So if you haven't played Red Dead 2, you can, I think I've seen Red Dead 2 go for like 12 quid, like when they've been 75% off. Imagine getting Red Dead 2 for 12 quid and never having played it. Now, of course, for me, I've played it several times over or something, so, you know, I wouldn't be buying a sale version of it now, but, you know, and then there's different games. So, you know, if there's a game that's got a finite end, it's 50 hours, it's 60 hours, then for me, the price has a big factor to it. If it's more open thing, you think, well, I'm going to get 1,000 hours out of it or 2,000 hours out of it, then, you know. But then, you know, No Man's Sky, I don't know how they do it, because they bring out these major updates, like 3 or 4 a year, and they're not charging any money for it. So how good a value that is? You know, I mean, they've just done another update, haven't they, for No Man's Sky, I think. So, I mean, just think about what people paid for that originally and the amount of hours that they get out of it. I mean, for value for money. But like Enshrouded's like that and stuff. I just hope that Windrose doesn't go the way of Valheim and very slow updates and a lot of money, because they've sold a couple million copies, over 2 million copies of Windrose. That if they just bring out one more biome, one more boss in a year's time, you know, and then want another 10 quid for the game, it's just not going to be enough. And I don't particularly want to go back to Windrose now for just one more boss and one more biome. Like, if they bring out 2 or 3, so there's a few more to go, then it'd be like, okay, let me do another session, build on what we've had before. Sitting here, surviving here. Do I actually go out and mine these things? Get out of here. Metals. My ship is down to... Shit, I've got no energy, man. Might have balls to save up sitting here talking. Anyway, I got... This place has got energy, but I couldn't stay there, could I? Pirate Coalition, great. My ship with a little bit sticking out there. Drop package items, no interest. I'm going to get absolutely collared. Stress beacon. No. No. Heck. No fuel. I think I'm going to wind in this back because everything's going to be shutting off. I need to find fuel, but I also need to find fuel in a system that's safe. No fuel there. Some fuel here, don't know how much. That doesn't look like it leads anywhere. Some here. At least it doesn't have a oh, it has rope. I say at least it doesn't have a sun flare thing. This looks like a bigger dude as well, this thing. Only dropship. I don't think... Thing is, everything's going to shut off soon. You've played First Light for about 5 hours. So far it feels a bit too similar to Hitman. Really? Okay. I mean, I did play Hitman's, but I haven't played the latest ones. Or again, really because not replayability. I like a good story game, but I don't buy many of them because of value, but you know, I mean, give me a 34-hour story game, so I'd probably enjoy First Light and stuff, but I'm just not going to be buying. Wait, we've been boarded, right? Oh, that was a drop. That's what that was. We were invaded, right? Right. Well, maybe we go for lunch, come back, try and do some boring or something. Resolution's a bit low on PS5. What's a jagged line? Oh, you're playing it on PS5. Have you not got a PC to play it on? Guy says the issue today is balance, satisfying the game of this. Yeah, I mean it is. It's like it's not easy, you know. I mean, but you know, the UK is going through the biggest crisis for youth unemployment. My daughter's been out of uni for a year and can't get a job anyway. People aren't giving her jobs. Everybody's cutting back. AI is replacing. We have a lost generation if we're not careful. You know, games companies are, you know, everybody. It's like, where's all the money going? And yet, all these billionaires are making money out of all prices, weapon sales and stuff. It's just, you know, and the games companies have done it to themselves a bit, I think, through greed and suits thinking they know what, you know, let's turn, you know, we're going to just make this game because we can make hundreds of millions out of it and stuff. That's why indie companies feel a bit better, because they're trying to make a lovable game, or they have a passion for a game, but then of course they've got low budgets or what have you. So you know, it's kind of understandable, but as I say, the player itself, it's a very fragmented base, so not everybody likes the same games for all the reasons that I said, you know, whether it be you know, many people don't have, you know, I've got no money, but I've got tens of hours to play games. Other people have got lots of money, but they've got, you know, 5-6 hours a week to spend on games, if that. People have just had babies, kids, you know, trying to find jobs and stuff, you know. All pretty different. Probably isn't going to work. Try and call the bit to make. Sometimes that attracts more traders, but you know, and you know, people aren't going to, you know, for me, gaming was never meant to be a major industry like Hollywood or something, AAA games, all this sort of stuff. It was always meant to be made by people that love gaming, had a passion for games, creative visions. They liked sci-fi, they liked Dungeons and Dragons, you know, and then with computing you could make good things that people would want to play. And over the last sort of 10 years, it's you know, but then look at sport. You know, for me, money's ruining sport. I've been a big F1 fan. You know, I love F1 and watched it since, you know, Nigel Mansell went to the Grand Prix in the 80s and took my daughter to, on her 18th birthday, to British Grand Prix. You know, I like football, but I'm not, you know, some major, you know, but I would say all of those sports were better 20 years ago than they are now. I mean, yes, there's more, but like, look at the Champions League, you know, they just want more matches, more television rights, more money, sponsors, naming the stadiums, you know, people being sold for 100 million quid like they're slaves or something, and then they have no rights, and then they want salaries of 300,000-400,000 a week, you know, 20 million a year, you know. I mean, just completely different. And then we would like, and then our youth and our young are led to idolize these people. And so I'm not saying they're bad people for getting on in life or anything like that, but it's kind of like everybody thinks they can be a footballer or a Hollywood star or something, and we're losing, you know, we're losing people that, you know, become plumbers and bricklayers, and, you know, our roads are getting worse, our politics is getting worse, our parks are getting worse, you know, and we can't all just make money being OnlyFans. It's I don't know, things just don't feel like they're going in the right direction. But then when you're sat at home watching all this stuff, it can seem a bit you know, because you get to hear about the negatives and not so much the positives. But like a lot of sport, you know, whether it be golf, cricket, whatever, it's, you know, a lot of young people can't get into these sports now because they're too expensive, they're too exclusive, the gear costs too much, you know, and sponsorship you need and stuff. So, you know, the Super League that they tried to do in the UK a few years ago, and I love American sports, I love my NFL and stuff like that, but I don't love the industry and stuff. Not really for the fans. It's a franchise to make money. You know, the teams have no jeopardy of getting relegated or anything like that. They just... And similar things in gaming are happening. What's happened in sports, that the money, making money, overrides the decisions of entertainment or fun. I've got a fire, being absolutely pummeled by micro asteroids here. Trying to get stuff mined, but trying to get this console built. Let's just have a look. I'm gonna, oh god, I'll be too late. I'm gonna get rid of this bench again. I need to get the shields going, because we lose any equipment. Open this. Suck all those gases. I actually haven't got a scrubber back here, I do. Temperature 59. Oh, close that up. Although all of this needs repairing. A high power node. You can't seem to like when you build something, you can set it as a high priority, but you can't seem to set anything as a high priority if you want to deconstruct it. You also can't seem to prioritize repairs. Let's say repair this first before anything. Don't all go to bed, people. You need to fix things. Well, I'm going to turn this off. That's silly as well. It's like people would much rather research than save their lives. I don't know whether I'm going to get out of this or not. A lot of things have gone offline because it knocked out this unit. All these got no power, and my ship health is only 400. See, why would you go pick stuff up and move it around? some metals in the thing. It's like, go fix these machines, Fed. Oh, Dusty's on it. Dusty's actually fixing something. Well done, Dusty. He knows what she's. Kelly's not. It might be that Kelly can't actually fix it. Have a look. Oh, construction 1, industry nice. Just botany she can't do. You read some Brits regret. Well, I never voted for Brexit, so I regret it. Biggest mistake this country's ever made. They were lied to and sold a whole pack of lies. That big red bus with 350 million a week back for absolute bollocks. But the thing is, it should have things like that, things that are really important in the country. Should be something like a 60% or 75% vote pass mark. You know, like if you're changing the constitution, if you're changing major things like that, you know, like if like this thing about Canada, America. If you know, Tom, oh yeah, Canadians want to be Americans or something. No, they don't, or whatever. But you know, let's say there was a vote or something. If you had a vote to say, well, let's be part of America. You know, they would never be. I know. I mean, it's ridiculous because you know they're more British than they. You know, got total different history, French and much more European. Canada, and they are because of their history. It's facts. But you know, you couldn't do it on anything. But Brexit was like a 50-50, and the vote was like 49-51. Wasn't, some people say it wasn't 48. It was 49-51. And the people that got the Brexit passed was a lie. Now there were arguments about taking back control, and Europe was trying to get through a lot of rules and stuff like that. But other people were like, well, look, it's better to be in and change how Brussels works. I mean, Europe didn't make things easy, and there are other countries, I think Denmark and a few others, are sort of like, some of them aren't on the euro and things. So, you need to be a bit careful about federalisation, because if countries feel they're losing their identity, then it's going to do the opposite. But as far as trading market and stuff, I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, could you imagine the United States being fragmented and having no federal system? A lot of states would maybe want to say, well, I'm going to break away from, Ohio or something. It's like, I don't want to be part of the United States anymore. I want to be the country of Ohio. And the states are going to succeed again, like in the Civil War. But they wouldn't be better off, not economically. No state could survive without sort of the federal system. But is the federal system working for all people in the United States? Of course it's not. One of the richest countries in the world, with some of the biggest differences between those who've got money and those who haven't. But it's nationalism, which has been on the rise for quite some years, isn't necessarily a good thing. Well, it isn't a good thing, not when it goes to fascism and extremism. But it always rises when countries are struggling. You've got high unemployment and things like that. If you read your history, if you know about World War One, if you know about World War Two, even the Civil War and stuff in America, if you actually know what the fuck you're talking about, these wars don't come about because two people are pissed off at each other. They often come about because of politics, because of nationalism, because of expansionism, because of other things. And how do those things come about? Well, they come about because countries aren't led very well, and they're not, oh dear, I'm just losing my mining ship. Oh no, we've lost a mining ship. How much is this? Green. We're gonna. So I mean, it's there's always causes and stuff. So modern life. I mean, certainly since the 60s and 70s, a lot of countries haven't been helping their citizens enough. Certainly the last 25 years. And if you don't put your people first, then. But we do need some middle ground. We don't need socialism, and we don't need extreme nationalism and right-wing stuff either. If you look at history and wars and stuff, I mean, this length of world peace that we've gone through, that's a bit of a joke when you think about how many wars have been happening the last 20, 30 years. Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq 1, Iraq 2, Afghanistan, Ukraine, and then you get into, Bosnia and Serbia and Libya, and so I mean the world's never really, but we haven't had sort of world wars, but the peace that we've had in Europe for 50, 60 years, I mean, we could lose it if we're not careful, because if we don't go to the middle ground and make it a nice place for people to live that have decency in promoting health and doctors. I mean, I'm in my 50s. I mean, everything's worse. I can't get a doctor. When I was younger or something, if I wanted to go to the doctor, I'd phone up and go see him in 2 hours or something. I mean, now that's like, it's all phone calls and nobody can do it and stuff. It's more expensive. There's less of them. Electricity is the highest it's ever been in the world, in the UK. Yet we've got more LED and cost saving and plugs that turn off and lights that turn off and cars that run on batteries and other things that are, even my TV remote control's got a solar thing on the back of the thing, so I can turn it over and charge it. But yet, I'm paying more money for electricity than was 25 years ago. So, governments are failing their people, and it's not just the UK, it's everywhere. And then people go, well, I've had enough of this shit. And then you get civil wars, and you get, unstable countries and crime, and you name it. So I don't know if I certainly don't have the answers for it, because if we did, or if it was that easy, that it's a bit of a mess. And certainly when I grew up, in the 70s and 80s and stuff, you always assumed that the world was going to be better for you and your family in 10 years time and 10 years after. And I would say the exact opposites happen in nearly every measure. Yeah, exactly. But that's a problem, because they can often only govern when things are stable. When things become unstable, but just look at history, whether it be Egyptian history, Roman history, the Roman Empire. I mean, full of civil wars and people being killed and assassinated. And so the thought that we think it can't all happen all over again is ludicrous. Of course it can. Take some people, sitting in Paris or London or New York or something at a cafe having a really expensive burger or something, drop them in Ukraine for a week or something, and then see what the world's like, But I can't see things changing, because, as I say, I love my history and I love reading history and understanding things, but it's always been like that, So humans are notorious for screwing over other humans, whether it be financially or. Where are you from, Sky? Don't say the sky. Sky Dream. I should have paused the game, but I'm on slow mode. But I think we're gonna. I keep having to do this on this game. Go back to places where. Problem is, I'm just running out of energy. Everything's going to go offline. That's what we were trying to do, getting that energy, but that's not. I might come back here because at least there is some energy to mine. Lunch in a bit, and then I might try some Vorium later on. But you know, us Brits, mate, it's I don't know, it's quite good to moan. Sometimes it gets obviously there's not a thing I can do about what's happening in this country or around the world myself, but you know, and all problems are all countries are having problems with integration and migration and stuff. I'm not going to get into the real politics of it all, but you know, a lot of that stems from the fact that people either can't live where they wanted to live because of wars and famines and what have yous, or crime and stuff. You know, but you know, there's so many people making money off people moving around, whether it's you know, slavery and trafficking trades and all that sort of stuff. Only one bit of fuel here. This game, man. That's because we did mine a little bit of it. Get it? But we had to get out of here because of the solar flare, but I can't stay anywhere long enough to make any mining. Are you from Sweden? Regarding your topic, history should create change, but it never will as long as power hungry. Yeah. It's like but you know, America's, so I mean, I've got cousins in the East Coast, and I've probably been to America more than I have any other countries, and I've always loved my trips and stuff over there and stuff. And you know, I first went over there in the 80s when I went backpacking and stuff, but it's such a weird country in some ways, that it can be so brilliant in one town and so awful in another. But just like the UK and Europe, you know, I wouldn't have said things have got better the last 20, 30 years. You know, that American dream of the 60s and somebody having a house and a car and living on one salary and stuff. You could do that in the UK and the US, like in the 60s, but you can't now. People have, you know, two people have 4 jobs between them or something. They still can't afford to do. Hey, Dusty. Yeah, sorry, we've gone into moaning about the world and talking about world politics and what's going on. It started because we were talking about gaming, and then I took it in a different direction because I said, well, gaming's getting ruined with money, just like sport is, like football and F1, and you know, it's all about the money rather than the sport these days, as it is with gaming. I should do a IRL stream or something, talking about the world. Come and moan on LG FM 101. But you know, we were talking about, but the thing is, I mean, the UK's got a very different history from other countries, even though we're just as messed up as everyone else for much of our own reasons. And yes, we were invaded by the Vikings, and then we were invaded by the French, which were the Normans. Oh no, the solar flare. I think this save is cooked as but if you take Poland, if you take Romania, where Dusty's from, you know, the Germans invading and then the Russians invading. I mean, Romania's had a very, very difficult period of thing. But then you could take Serbia, Bosnia, and you know, all these you know, countries that wanted to break away. And you know, I don't know, I mean, Wales and Scotland, if they had the chance to break away from the United Kingdom, but that would be the end of, you know, I think England would be worse off, Scotland would be worse off. Where, you know, we need to stick together, but we need to make Welsh people feel Welsh and Scottish people feel Scottish, and have their local interests put front and centre. The countries do need to stick together, but their people need to be looked after and listened to and given, you know, priority of helping their health and their jobs. Generally, everybody in every country, they just want to live, grow up, have kids, have family, go out, have holidays, be able to provide for their kids, hopefully have their kids have a better life than they did. You know, and it doesn't matter what country you go to, they all want the same. I mean, I used to love watching those Ewan McGregor, The Long Way Round, The Long Way Down, all those bike things. Because it was really nice. It was quite picturesque. You saw the cinematography was pretty good, and they were both quite cool, Charlie and Ewan. But one of the best things about it, particularly The Long Way Round, which was the first one, when they went through Europe, and they went through Europe, Eastern Europe, and then they went into Russia, and then they went into that country that's really large, that's countries I'd love to. I mean, people that you look at the size of Ukraine, the country I'm thinking of, some of the stands. So you've got. Have you seen how big Kazakhstan is, like, as a country landmass? I mean, it's like the size of virtually all of Europe. One country, Uzbekistan. Mongolia was the other, so they then went into Mongolia and they met the people. But what was really good about watching, and it was only, you know, it was quite limited how much time they got, but the people they met who helped them, you know, gave them food, or let them put up the tent, and like the poorer the people were, like in Mongolia and Kazakhstan and stuff, the friendlier they were. I mean, it was just, you know, and it just, I don't get to travel or go to other countries much now. I don't think I will really. But understanding other countries and cultures and not seeing a them and us world is a much better world. So knowing history is important. Traveling is important. Trying to improve the world, and not some sort of, you know, I'm probably slightly more right than I am left, or I certainly was, but as I say, all politics parties, and I know, I mean, Dusty would be able to correct me about, but there was a guy that I was fairly friendly with in gaming that was trying to talk to me about politics in Romania, and this was probably a couple of years ago, because they had probably a other ones since, but they were having some elections and they were talking about the corruption in the voting and the elections, because they were having to have re-elections after re-elections, because this was probably about 2 years ago, maybe 4. Back in my bit, man. My turret's actually overwhelmed though. But then, you know, politics just isn't it's not working for people, because either people aren't around long enough to get anything changed in the country for better, or either get into power and then just go crazy, paying themselves money, embezzlement, you know, houses, careers, whatever, and then they're gone, and then it's another lot that does the same. Or if you're in some pretty unstable countries, then it all gets corrupted, and although for totally different reasons. I mean, it's kind of weird because the UK and actually the Nordic countries, people like Norway and Denmark and maybe even Sweden and stuff as well, like, but they were some of the best armies and nations for like peace building. Like the Americans were always all for like bomb everybody, and you know, I mean, we had more people killed. You know, there was a whole British convoy and something that was wiped out by the Americans in Afghanistan. Or was it Iraq? I can't remember. Blue on blue stuff, and again, people don't mean to do these things, but I don't know where the world's going, because if I could flick a switch now and go back to the 70s, I would do, but then I'd be sitting if I knew what the 2020s were going to be like or something, I'd be like, well, we need to, but you wouldn't be able to change it, would you? So I mean, I've often wondered what the 60s and 70s would have felt like as an adult, because of course, you know, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. But, you know, I think what's important to know is all countries have, you know, and I'm not to put one, you know, let's see, about a year and a half ago. But like Romania's got a very fragmented history, but then most of the Eastern, you know, you think about Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, you know, Poland and stuff. But if you, and I'm not an expert in history, but I know a lot of history, and I'm sort of a generalist in a lot of things. But you know, even if you go back to, you know, the Hun, you know, the Hun from Mongolia, you know, how they invaded all those countries and killed all those people, and they got the Romans on one side and the Hun on the other side. You know, well before World War One, or you know, Napoleon doing the same thing when he wanted to march to Moscow and take all these countries. But and that's the thing the United States doesn't understand. The United States it's only 250 years old. It's had one civil war, and it's never been invaded. And I love America, and I've got some American cousins and stuff like that. But quite honestly, that country fucking knows nothing, because it hasn't had to go through it. Now it's had indigenous people, and yes, some of the Vikings took some of Canada and stuff, and Spanish and conquistadors came along, and then you've got the natives. So I mean, it does have its own local thing, but you know, it didn't have Napoleon or the Hun or something like wiping out. So there's so many countries like in what we would call Europe now, but not even Europe. If you look at the Levant, so you know, like Syria and Turkey and the Ottoman empires, and I mean, it's just been back and forth for thousands of years. You know, and the poor people that are just living there are like, Jesus Christ, can't people just, you know, live to get on? Because, you know, and obviously Romania in recent history, you know, it was invaded by Germany, and then the big change in Romania happened. I can't remember the exact, but when the Berlin Wall, so it would have been, so the Berlin Wall came down in 89, and the Warsaw Pact then, because it didn't happen instantly, so I'd have to look it up to check it. So Romania was part of the Warsaw Pact before it imploded, but when the Warsaw Pact imploded, it then was outside of the Warsaw Pact. But then, you know, it still had that history of what had gone on in the Second World War and after the Second World War, through the 50s and 60s and 70s, and then, you know, so it was like 1990 or so, because the Berlin Wall came down. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. When was that? don't know why we're talking about me. It's my own fault. Losing all my viewers because I don't want to talk about world into what. Berlin Wall. So I always thought it was 89. Yeah, November 89. But then, you know, and everybody in the West was thinking, yeah, but I mean, a lot of countries got very destabilized because of lack of jobs and money and all those. The West capitalism was better, and a lot of the infrastructure's just. So, you know, the 90s for somewhere like Romania and stuff must have been a very. I don't know. Are your parents both from Romania? But I mean, they would, you know, like, so. Yeah, and you know, Romania didn't start getting sort of its stuff together, but then, you know, now with what I mean, Putin, if it have his way, he'd like the old Warsaw Pact back, so he would like not only Ukraine but, you know, Romania and Hungary and Poland. He, you know, he'd love all those back in the Warsaw Pact. I mean, it was hard. I mean, you know, health wasn't as good in the 70s. You know, with the mines and the miners' strike in the 80s, but people did have. You know, you could get a doctor. You know, a household could live on one salary. I don't know. It scares me a bit to think where it's going the next. But people say we have to learn from history, but yet we don't. We don't as a race, and we don't as nations. And we, you know, every nation and stuff. But you know, the Romans probably took things for granted. Thought, well, this Roman Empire's never going to end, and it didn't end overnight either. You know, it took hundreds of years really for it to get to the point where, you know, an empire that, you know, went on for like. Well, it wasn't quite 1,000 years, about 900 years, I think, because it was about 450, 460 AD, I think, the Roman Empire sort of collapsed. But they couldn't. They expanded so fast, the Roman Empire. They couldn't manage everything. So then they were like, well, let's split it up. Let's, you know, have the Eastern Roman Empire with, you know, like if you take Istanbul. And you can watch some good history. I mean, Istanbul changed hands and got sacked and raided, just like Jerusalem, and so many times between east and west, and back and forth, you know. So kind of crazy, but I think, you know, it's important. So I kind of wish people were taught history more. Like, you know, it's history's taught in most countries at school, but like even in the UK, and I don't know what it is currently, but you know, it wasn't one of those mandatory, so a lot of people at 13 could drop subjects, and then, you know, and I understand why maths and your language like English or whatever are made important, but I'm going to, it might be too late, let's balls this up. If I dismantle it, I would be able to build this shield comp. Half one blue block. Get out of here. Because my ship's about to explode anyway. We're down 140. I've got no metal to it. Even though I'm mining, you know, trying to get everything. And we've done base ores. I don't know, I've probably been to about 5-6 systems. Base ores still don't seem to be making any metal. Might be too late to do this, but this I'm probably going to do a bit of a vorium this afternoon once I've had some. But yeah, I mean, it's Kind of weird, isn't it, really? I think it's kind of weird because after the Berlin Wall, I mean, everybody thought our peace is won and the Cold War's over and stuff, but I don't know, it was all people taking things a little bit too much for granted. But it's also like I don't know, it's kind of, I mean, people were worried about nuclear war in the 80s and stuff, but I think generally in the 80s people thought positively of the future. I don't think that's the case. Maybe it's just me. You guys are like, what are you on about, LG? You know, next year's going to be a great year for me and the country. Sweden's going to go through an amazing revolution. But some of the Nordic countries are actually rated some of the best countries to live in, but they're also some of the most expensive countries to live in. So that's must be very reliant on having jobs and good jobs. And talking about the long way round and down and stuff, they did a recent one on Way Up or something, was it called or something, and they went through a lot of the Nordic countries in the last one that happened. Thanks for that game. Just start 10 fires when the ship is basically on its knees. Putting a fire out. Trying to. Probably going to get burnt to a cinder. Spacesuit. If I fall burnt down, I can't rebuild it. Oxygen levels decreased. No. That door's open. The oxygen don't have. Tell you what, let's open it. Put me up. I can't think why they didn't put a fire suppressant system in this game. You know, halons, no. Sprinklers, no. Just some scrubbers for smoke and a few fire extinguishers. That's all you have in the game. Okay, man. 200. How's the consoles looking? Oh yeah, 200 degrees centigrade. Lovely. Haven't got any vents. And that should cool down a lot quicker, really. We literally got open to space. It's still 76 degrees centigrade, right near the airlock. Incoming ship. Yeah, I'm constantly having to reload, but I don't know. We might. Fires are out. I don't think the biggest problem is having things actually burn down because I can't rebuild them. It doesn't give you the resource back down. So I'm now going to close these vents and back to auto. Vent auto. I've got some scrubbers. There's a scrubber in here, but it's offline at the moment. We lost our crops, but I don't think we lost a lot. These all got quite heavily damaged, but oh, hang on. So yeah, I'm gonna play some Avorium this afternoon. We'll do a bit of space mining, trading and industry. It's sort of cross between Minecraft and spaceships. But it's got some automation in it, so you can set up some ships to auto mine and stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff's done on the economy, so you need to keep mining stuff to sell to get money to build ships and trade, but give it a go. I wish those scrubbers were a bit more robust, because they always go down the same with everything else, and of course they're useless when they're not actually scrubbing. Oh, I lost the power unit. I thought we got away with it. Let's redeal with that. But that's a two blue and a can rebuild it. Rogue bots detected. Oh yeah, throw those at me at the same time. Very healthy in the that game. I've got a scrubber. That's actually not offline, but it's saying utilization 0, hazardous gas 0, smoke 100%. So why? Why is that not scrubbing? That shouldn't be that, should it? You're off, Sky. No worries, man. Thanks for popping in. Nice to have a chat. Say hi to Sweden for me. And they come attacking already. I mean, my ship is 90 health. Oh my god, 15 health. We're about to explode. There we go. Nice. We're all dead. Right, well, we'll have to wind that back to a point where we think we can save it again in future. But I'm going to take a small break and say probably get Avorium going. So I'll probably be back in about 45 minutes or something. See, so if anybody's around later, do pop in. Gifted a channel membership. Airliners Live. Pizza Express. They offer me. Are they actually offering me anything? Bottle of champagne. £20 per person. Anybody wants to take me to Pizza Express for some food and drinks? It probably wasn't all that fun for you, Dusty, coming in us talking about world events and stuff, but it did start on the old gaming industry. How was your stream today? How are things in Upgrader Land? Kelvin. Yeah, I'm finding this game super tough to keep the ship alive, even though it's normal mode. You're travelling this weekend, so you won't be back until middle of next week. All right. Is that work stuff, or you getting away for a few days? Hopefully the latter, but it's maybe for work, although it's weekend. But have safe travels. Go with the family. That's nice. Going to meet cousins from the US and a family. Oh, that's nice. I've got cousins from the US as well. Yeah, my dad, it was my dad's first. So there was a lady called Jean, and she was a GI bride. So she was from her family was sort of from Wales, but then she was living around Bristol area when she met Andy, who was over for probably 44 when a lot of the Yanks were over in England. I don't know what year, but anyway, she got together with him and then moved to America after the war. Had 7 kids. Well, she actually had a few more than that, but she had a couple miscarriages. But she had a big family, and he was a cop in Philadelphia, I think, after the army. And then he started doing security at schools. Andy died quite a long time ago. Unfortunately, Jean died about 2 years ago. She was like my second mother to me or something. But when I was 20, I went over to the States. Long time ago, to meet them all. Well, initially it was going to be just something, but they loved me so much. They insisted on me spending Christmas with them, and they took me to Baltimore and New York City and up to Ithaca to meet another cousin up in Niagara Way, up in Ithaca in New York State. And although the cousins were mostly all Philadelphia, most of them moved because Gina and Andy are unfortunately no longer with us, so their kids have moved away. So most of them now are in Delaware, New Jersey. And one of them's still in the outer part. I mean, for me, so like Jean was like my second cousin. Like her daughters were third cousins and their kids are fourth cousins. But how many cousins removed? I said a long time ago, we'll just say cousin. We'll just say cousin and we'll keep it a cousin. Whether it's second, third, fourth, it's just cousins. But yeah, and then I took my daughter over to meet them some years ago before COVID. But she hasn't really kept in touch with them. But you know, she's had a lot to do with growing up and stuff like that. But yeah, I used to go up there quite a lot to the East Coast to them. I've got some very close friends, 2 girls actually that I sort of grew up with. My sister, 2 other girls. When I was young, basically I was just surrounded by girls. I mean, why the hell I didn't date a lot more of them or have some wild time, but I don't know, more like a brother to. But I when I was young, I basically virtually all my friends were girls other than guys. I had one or two guy friends or something, but most of them. Anyway, so these two girls, but they were like friends of my mum. Used to go camping holidays and all kinds of things. But the two girls, well, the first girl, she was an air stewardess. She worked on Dan Air, and she met a fireman in San Francisco. Yeah, decades ago, moved out to the States on the West Coast, and of course, then her sister Lindsay. Remember, you've got a Lindsay that watches your channel, Dusty. That's the Lindsay I know. She was uh, one of the daughters of my mum's friend that I grew up with and go camping. So both Michaela and Lindsay moved to the United States, and they've been out on the West Coast for decades now. Have got their own families and stuff out there. So yeah, so they're not family, but so I've got them on the West Coast and then my cousins. Whereabouts are your cousins from in the state? You have cousins from Philly too, boxing. Well, there you go. You might be my cousin. We might have the same cousins from Philly. That's why I support the Eagles NFL, because of Gene and Andy and stuff. They were like, you know, I've got a lovely picture of me with my Eagles shirt on, holding an NFL ball when I was young, 20, with my aviator glasses on, looking like Tom Cruise. I was a lot more attractive when I was young. I never thought I was. God, I'd love to go back to those. They're from Portland, Oregon. All right, okay, so northwest coast. Quite a different part of this. Very green, different part of the States. Don't know anybody from Portland. So they're traveling along. Where are they traveling to then in Europe? Are they coming to Romania? You have one aunt in the US. Her husband who moved around that time. Yeah. So are your cousins from Portland coming to Romania then, or are they? How have you got a cousin boxing Philly? I mean, it might be a first or second. Is it a first cousin? You're only thick. Well, you know, what's the how did that? How did like your one of your aunts or something married and lived in the States or something? Cousins visiting Romania, extended family, have a big family. That's nice. How many brothers and sisters do you? Your uncle moved from Hornchurch, Philly. That's a bit of a change. Hornchurch to Philadelphia. Hornchurch is quite a, well, it was quite a nice sort of rural. Maybe less so now. Near Upminster and Romford Way. It's changed a lot over the last 20, 30. Like a British version of arranged marriage. Do you have brothers and sisters, Dusty? You're in a large family? It's like, I mean, like Gina, like, I mean, it's kind of weird because generally in the UK, I mean, if anybody has more than 3 kids, that's pretty rare these days. I mean, some might have 4, but 3, but I mean, most people are having 1 or 2 now. Have been for a long time. I mean, I've got 1 sister, but It's like when Gene went over to America, he ended up with 7 kids. They're just like US cousins everywhere. And most of those have all got kids. But, you know, their kids, it's like the cousins in America. I mean, it's, I guess it would do. I mean, A, it's America, and B, it's like just a lot of family. So, you know, you've had people that have had car accidents, people with mental health issues, people with drug issues, people that, you know, were in the Vietnam War, and, you know, people that have had various illnesses and stuff. So I always felt fairly lucky with my smaller family that I didn't have all the issues that the American relatives have been through quite a lot over there. Aren't by marriage. Nice. So have you been out to the States yourself boxing? Have you been out to Philly yourself? Run up and down the stairs and do your Rocky, you know, your Rocky pose? I've done that. Go to Philadelphia, go to the steps and do your Rocky thing. Da -da -da, da -da. Didn't they film that in one take or something? You have not. Right, anyway, we should probably leave it there. I'm just chatting and things, but always a pleasure. I will be back soon, though, with a different game. I'm just going to have some lunch, stretch the legs, bio break. Around later, welcome to join for more space games and chat. Otherwise, be safe, be well. Thanks, Sky, Boxing, Dusty. Anybody who's around on Twitter, people watching, lurking on Twitch, thank you very much, and we will be back soon. I don't know, what day is it today? Is Dusty's name Thursday today or Friday? It's Friday, isn't it? Yeah, so if you're traveling today or very soon, have a lovely time. I'm sure it'll be good to see a few days off, get away from it all. Although family sometimes can be a different kind of, it's good to do it, but then after a while you're craving for your own space again or something. So have safe travels and have a good weekend. I'll catch up with you hopefully next week on your streams. If not, I'll always be about. And say I'll be back soon. See you guys.